We took all the concerns you just heard to the higher ups in the city and the police department, specifically Chief Pete Carey and Deputy Chief Mark Smith. Now, they were able to comment on the concerns the officers voiced, and in short, Chief Carey says since he's been chief, they're just not true. Here are the highlights from our interview.
Is there a ticket quota within CSPD?
By a ticket quota, I assume you mean if there's negative consequences against a police officer for writing a certain amount or more tickets. That's not the case.
Is there a number of tickets? Is there a specific goal that we're saying it'd be nice if people reach this amount?
I hold my deputy chief and my command staff accountable for that to make sure that that's fair and it's consistently applied. Again, I want the message to be traffic enforcement, not revenue, not ticket counts and things like that.
Chief Carey told us there are 14 performance objectives for a patrol officer on which they're evaluated, one of those being traffic safety standards. He said with increases in traffic incidents, he expects a 10% increase this year across CSPD and traffic stops, adding that each division is given top accident locations in their area, along with the common causes for those crashes, to help patrol officers specifically target problem areas and conduct stops for actions that could lead to accidents.
I can tell you that our general orders and our measurable outcomes for police officers say when time permits and you're not on priority calls for service, special details, special assignments and things like that, conduct traffic enforcement. And again, as a division, there are certain numbers that I expect a division based on their traffic actions to come up with.
One of the officers said people are getting tickets who in different situations may have just gotten a warning. And another person said, until I get to 140, which is the number they said is a ticket quota, I'm not issuing any warnings because I don't know if I'll reach that number. And because that's what everybody as in supervisors says, it's all about numbers, it's all about the ticket count.
Traffic safety is not about the numbers, it's not about total numbers of tickets, it's not about revenue at all. Our traffic accidents have gone up substantially in the last few years, as well as fatalities. The number of tickets we've written have actually gone down. And I think a lot of that has to do with the Waldo Canyon fire, the Black Forest fire, and lots of other more important business, even including flash flood and evacuation. So that's most important, but when there's a time and place for it, I expect our officers do traffic enforcement.
While one of the officers said they knew of other members of CSPD who were written up for not meeting a prescribed number of tickets, Chief Carey says that may have been the case years ago. But since 2011 and 2012, CSPD now has what he calls divisional goals of tickets in response to an increase in traffic injuries.
Well, it's a performance expectation. A quota implies to me negative consequences. If you don't get it, you're on a performance improvement plan just for not writing a ticket. That's nonsense. I simply say that our officers stay busy. They give me a good 10 hours a day, and if they simply can't write traffic tickets because of all the more important things, that's what they should be doing first. And I would submit to you that our police officers don't get in trouble. They don't get on performance plans strictly for not doing traffic enforcement.
I'm sure the question that a lot of people at home when they're watching this are wondering is, who should they believe? If these officers are coming forward and saying, I've been told 140 or I'm going to get in trouble, and now we're saying they're just safety precautions that we're taking.
Well, without delving into the anonymous person or persons who told you this, I'd sure ask you to talk to any police officers who have been in trouble or written up or fired or demoted or not given some kind of a promotion because they didn't write enough traffic tickets. I'd also ask you to look at a decision that both Mayor Bach and I made a couple years ago about traffic tickets when it came to photo red lights and photo radar. There was a point when I was a new chief that I decided it was not helping with safety in the city, or I couldn't be sure of that. So we stopped that program, and as a whole, the city walked away from about $800,000 a year in revenue just because I felt like it wasn't the right thing to do as far as promoting safety in the city.
Does any revenue from tickets come back into the CSPD budget directly?
Absolutely not. Any revenue from traffic tickets goes into general fund revenue. I'm very much not concerned with revenue. It's not about the revenue. It's about keeping people alive.
Officers told us many in CSPD are, quote, fed up with low staffing, the ticket quotas, the inability to get clear to go help these people, unquote. We asked about their concerns that no officers were dispatched to the home burglary that became the deadly shooting of Staff Sergeant David Dunlap and his wife.
Once someone heard shots fired, officers were dispatched because at first it was a priority 2 call. Do you think situations like that could be avoided
I think the police department is extremely shorthanded right now. And again, I think the way to look at horrible tragedies like that is to get officers on scene as quickly as possible. We have to prioritize our calls for service 1 through 4, and even if we had 50 police officers available at that time, they probably would have been going to priority 1 calls. Until it became a priority 1 call for service, there weren't officers going to that. Like any other profession, you can sit around and wait for the big one. Or you can be out there enforcing traffic laws, educating the public, helping with engineering issues, and doing your best all the time. You can't always just wait for the priority 1 call for service. I expect these officers to stay busy, and I expect them to also make sure our streets are safe.
Regardless of whether it's a quota or not, we have some officers within CSPD who seem to think that it's more important, or they're more concerned with writing tickets than responding to calls, than pretty much anything else within their required duties.
Right.
What can we do to change that?
Again, I'm glad we had this conversation. I will reiterate the importance of responding to the priority calls for service in which people's lives may be in danger. I think that comes first in any good police department.
Now, Chief Carey said he believes traffic enforcement isn't just about nabbing people who roll through a stop sign, but that often larger crimes are solved or suspects are caught as a result of a routine traffic stop. But he also said he expects his officers to use their best judgment to leave a traffic stop, give back a license, and respond to those priority 1 calls. Back to you guys.